Okay, in this video we're going to look at division of polynomials again. This time we're going to use synthetic division instead of long division. Synthetic division works for division of polynomials if you are dividing a polynomial by a binomial of the form x minus c. So if you're dividing by, if there's an x squared in here, or if it's a trinomial, something like that, you cannot use this method. It only works for x minus c. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use c, which means that it's going to be opposite sign. Okay, so we've got x minus c here, and we're going to use c. So our c is always going to be opposite sign from whatever it is in the binomial. We're going to use the coefficients of p of x. Okay, again, if any terms are missing, we're going to fill them in for 0. And then let's set it up so we can see what the next two steps are. All right, so let's use an actual example. Let's use the one that we did in the other video. We're going to do x cubed minus 4x squared minus x plus 4. And we're going to divide by x plus 1. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use our c is going to be opposite sign. So what I'm talking about is right here. Okay, the number that we use is going to be the opposite sign from this. So we're going to use -1, and we're going to put that in a little box. Okay, and then the second step is to use all the coefficients of p of x. So all of these numbers out front and with the sign. Let me put the sign with it. All these numbers out front. And if any are missing, we're going to have to fill in a 0 to hold the place. Okay, so we've got a coefficient of 1, -4, -1, and +4. All right, we're going to leave a line, and we're going to write a line right here. So leave a space and then write your line. Okay, so the next step, let me do this in another color. The next step is to bring down the first number. Okay, so bring down first number. All right, and then each time, whoops, let's actually bring that down. Okay, so we're going to bring down that 1. Do that in red so you can see that. Okay, and then each time, like we did for the long division, you're going to multiply. Okay, but this time we're going to multiply this way. So we're going to multiply, and then we're going to add. Okay, so you're going to multiply following that arrow, and then you're going to add. So this is a little bit different from long division because we would multiply and then subtract, but that's why we're using the opposite sign of c. Okay, so we're going to multiply and we're going to add. All right, then we just keep doing that until we run out of numbers. So we multiply, put that in the next spot. -1 times -5 would be +5, and then we add. I get 4, and then I do it again. I multiply, and I add. Okay, so hopefully you can follow those arrows. So you bring down the first number, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add until you run out of numbers, and then you're done. Okay, now, starting from the back and going forward, or you can start from the top and go down. This last number is your remainder. This is your constant, your number by itself. This is your x term. This is your x squared term. Okay, or you can go by our first, this was x cubed, x squared, x, and number. It's going to go down by 1 each time you divide. Okay, so we divided by an x, that's going to drop the degree by 1. So we go from x cubed to x squared. So it's going to be x squared, x, number, remainder. We can see our remainder is 0. So our answer is just going to be 1x squared minus 5x plus 4. Okay, so we take those coefficients and we put them back in with the x's. And if you look, that's the same answer that we had before. Okay, let's try another one. Let's do another one that we did. I'm going to leave our steps there. Okay, so we also did x cubed minus 8 divided by x minus 3. Okay, so the first step is to take your opposite sign right here. I've got x minus 3, so I'm going to use positive 3. Okay, so I'm going to put positive 3 in a box. And then I'm going to use all the coefficients of p of x. Remember, we got to put in zeros for what's missing. So I've got 1x cubed, I've got no x squared, no x, and then negative 8. Okay, so this is my x cubed, this is my x squared, this is my x, and this is my number. All right, so again, any numbers that are missing, you've got to fill in with zeros. Okay, so now let's follow the process. We bring down the first number, and then we multiply, and we add. Okay, then we multiply, and we add. And then we multiply, and we add. Okay, so let's see, what color have I not used here? Oh, we can use red. Okay, so this is my remainder, this is my constant, this is my x term, this is my x squared term. Okay, so what do we have? We've got 1x squared plus 3x plus 9. And then the remainder, remember your remainder goes over the divisor, so it's going to be 19 over x minus 3. Okay, and if you look back at the last video, you're going to see that's the same answer that we got before with long division. Okay, so it's a different process to do synthetic division. It's a little bit more abstract because you don't have the x's and stuff in there, but it goes pretty quickly because all you have to do is multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. So it's a faster process if it's in the right form, and if you get it set up correctly, it goes much, much quicker.